What is up, everyone? And we just received this comment the other day that it's time to put together a tight end tier list. You heard the man. I agree with the man. Let's do it.
I gave you fair warning, beware. Smack him in the toward the end zone. It is caught for the touchdown. Smack him in the mouth. I gave you fair warning, beware. I'll smack him in the mouth.
What is up, everyone? It's Mike on the mic once again. I hope you're doing great. And I'm here to bring you the 2021 tight ends tier list. Post week 11, so keep that in mind if you're watching this down the line. But it shouldn't be too different at the end of the year to right now. We kind of got what we need to know about all the tight ends in the league right now. So let's do this. You guys saw at the beginning of the video, this was recommended in the comment section. If you guys want to see any concept, any topic that you think deserves its own entire video, drop down in the comment section and let us know. We'll probably make it happen. Also, real quick, while you're down there, like this video, hit subscribe, turn on notifications. It helps us out a ton in growth. We're trying to go to the moon, or at least like to the nearest star. Wait, is the moon closer than the stars? This is why I joined the Navy and didn't go to college. All right, here we are. I got the tier list pulled up. Here are the tiers. We got the elite tight ends in the league. I think you guys kind of have a hunch of who's going to fit into there. We have the next category, which I'm calling on their way to elite. These are probably young guys that I think are going to be elite sometime down the line in their careers. We've got great starters. These are guys that are consistent. They start every single week. They put up numbers every single week. They contribute to their offense every single week, but they just aren't quite elite. They don't have that kind of talent. Serviceable guys, just solid starters. Guys that belong in the spots that they're in. Keep them in your lineup as far as an NFL team with tight ends. The next tier is the serviceable guys. Those guys are solid starters. I don't disagree that they should be starting in the NFL, but I will say that they aren't quite great. They don't necessarily ever jump off the stat sheet. Fringe starters, guys who maybe you should think about benching. And then just for depth, these are guys that probably shouldn't even be starters in the league. So here we go, starting with Austin Hooper. And Austin Hooper has had an insane career. I think he's serviceable. You could almost put him in fringe starter with how he's been in Cleveland. He's not been a big part of that offense. We saw what he did in Atlanta. He was a big part of that offense, but we're going to put him in serviceable. Chris Herndon, he's now in Minnesota. I'm going to put him in the fringe starter category. He didn't really get it going with the Jets. He's been a little bit better in Minnesota. He's been a little bit more involved in Minnesota. We'll see if that lasts or not. I think he's a fringe starter. CJ Uzumwa. Him and Joe Burrow are starting to build a little bit of a connection up there. I still think I'm going to put him in fringe starter. He just, this year, he's had games where he's looked really good. Serviceable, you could put him there. It's tough with him because he reaches up and he plays at a serviceable and even great level sometimes. But for the most part, throughout his entire career, he's been a fringe starter. Cole Comet, I think Cole Comet is serviceable, and I think Cole Comet could be great if they figured out how to use him. I think this guy could be an insane weapon if he's used correctly. Call me crazy. Reminds me a little bit of like a Jimmy Graham style play. Jimmy Graham's on that team. It's pretty interesting. Dallas Goddard, you got to put him in great, and he may even be on his way to elite. But for now, we'll put him in great. The sample size we have from him has been great, and this guy really just ran Zach Ertz out of town. Dallas Goddard is a weapon, man. He's useful in that Eagles offense, especially with the lack of receivers they have at this current state that they're in. I think they're going to get that fixed, but for now, Dallas Goddard is great. Schultz, I'm going to put in serviceable. He hasn't been amazing. He hasn't been awful. He seems like he's there when you need him, which is the definition of serviceable to me. Dan Arnold. Dan Arnold's never really been too impressive to me. I mean, I know he's had his games and he's had his moments. I'll put him in the fringe starter category. Njoku, as a receiver, he's very serviceable. As a blocker, he lacks a little bit sometimes, but when he gets down the field and in open space, he's a hard guy to bring down. He's a hard guy to guard. He's very good at boxing people out and getting positioning when you throw the ball in there. I'm going to put him in serviceable for now. I'm not going to put him in great. Remember, he did demand a trade because he had a big struggle period in Cleveland last year. Dawson Knox, he's going to great, but we're not going to put him on the way to elite yet. We're going to put him in great. He's shown enough this year to earn this spot in the great category. But with the nature of the tight end position and how quickly you can rise and how quickly you can fall, I'm not going to put him in on their way to elite yet. Eric Ebron. serviceable. He's been in the league for a while now, and he's been the same player, pretty flatline the entire time. We haven't seen him improve a ton. We haven't seen him regress a ton. He's still that guy that you can rely on when you need him. He doesn't get as much action in Pittsburgh anymore these days with the emergence of Pat Freiermuth, who I don't think is going to be on this list, but Pat Freiermuth would probably be in this serviceable category for now, too. Maybe great. He's playing well right now. But yeah, Eric Ebron. I think if he left Pittsburgh and went to, say, Los Angeles, the Chargers, he'd be pretty serviceable again. Evan Ingram. This guy is so up and down, man. He has big weeks, then he has bad weeks. I'm going to call him a fringe starter. You can't be this inconsistent, and you can't be dropping passes the way he drops passes and be in the serviceable category on my tier list. Your tier list, you can have him wherever you want. Giants fans, you can put him in elite if you want to. Gronk. I want to put Gronk in elite because he always shows up for Brady still. But I'm going to put him in great. I don't think that he's the same Gronk that he was in his prime. But you see some resemblance of it. And he does enough with all the weapons around him now. He doesn't need to be prime Gronk anymore. He's Brady's best friend. And they find each other like 10 times a game. It's pretty impressive how they're still doing it in 2021 like they were in 2012. Man, I hyped up Hayden Hurst in the offseason. I thought he was going to be a good number 2 tight end with Kyle Pitts, and he was going to be involved in this offense even more than most expected. But he hasn't even done that, really. Hayden Hurst has kind of faded off into the background. So I'm going to put him in just for... I'm going to put him in just for depth. The first one to go into that category. And the second one to go into that category is going to be Ian Thomas. Ian Thomas had some promise. Bars. I'm putting him in just for depth because that's how Carolina's treating him. So that's where he belongs. They traded for a tight end, brought in Dan Arnold, who's not great in damn self. As you can see, I have him in the fringe starter category. So Ian Thomas, just for depth, man. This sucks because he looked like he had some kind of promise. Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry this year has been the signing of the year for the New England Patriots, man. This guy is showing what he was in Los Angeles with Phillip Rivers for those couple years that they were together as a red zone threat, and he's putting it all together as a tight end. We're seeing him making diving Superman catches. We're seeing him score touchdowns and spike the ball, and he's got a very beautiful family who my wife follows on Instagram. This is her favorite player in the NFL, Hunter Henry, and great starters. Jack Doyle. What happened to you, man? He's going to go into the fringe starter category. I think Jack Doyle is on his way out with Mo Alley Cox chasing behind him, although the tight ends aren't used at all in Indy right now. Jared Cook, he's my boy. He's on my team, but I'm going to put him in serviceable. I feel like that's a good spot for Cook. He's been serviceable his whole career. He has games where he's great, but for the most part, he's serviceable. You better stop dropping passes, bro. He's been dropping passes lately. I don't know if you guys have noticed, and it's pissing me. This guy goes an entire decade, and he's sure-handed, consistent, always there for his quarterback. And now, when Justin Herbert's firing balls at him, probably one of the biggest arms that he's ever played with, he starts dropping passes, and it's just so painful. Jonnu Smith, I'm going to put him in serviceable. I think that there's a gap between him and Hunter Henry, and that's showing now. And New England is paying him the same amount as Hunter Henry, and they're using him a lot less. So I'm going to put him in serviceable. I think in a different situation where he doesn't have another tight end overshadowing him, maybe he reaches up to great. I don't know how long he's going to be on the Patriots. Bill Belichick is typically quick to pull the plug on big contracts if you're not contributing too much. No one is in on the way to elite yet, and no one is in elite yet. Is it Jordan Atkins? It is indeed Jordan Atkins, and I'm going to put him in just for depth. He hasn't done anything crazy in his career. He's solid for Houston, but I don't think he would really start in many more places in the league right now. George Kittle is showing why he is elite ever since he's returned from injury. And I was telling everyone, this cat comes back if he's healthy. He's going to return to what he once was. And sure enough, here we go. George Kittle, 100% elite, and he's probably got a couple more years left in him of elite play. Kyle Rudolph, we're at a point where he's serviceable. I think I would put him in the great category when he was in Minnesota a couple years ago. But for now, in New York, he's not doing anything crazy this year. We're going to put him in serviceable. I think he has earned the credit to be a serviceable guy, even though he's not really contributing too much so far this year in this Giants offense that just has no idea what it's going. It's going right off the rails. They just fired their offensive coordinator in week 11. But yeah, I'm going to put Kyle Rudolph in serviceable. A lot of guys are going to be in serviceable. Logan Thomas. I actually really like Logan Thomas. I'm a big fan of Logan Thomas. I think he's super athletic. He can work on his blocking a little bit. But as a receiver and for a quarterback the style of Taylor Heinicke, who's a real gunslinger, does not care. He's just going to throw that ball in there. Philip Rivers did that a lot too. But just going to throw that ball in there and hope that his guy comes down with it. Trust his guy comes down with it. And it's perfect for a guy like Logan Thomas, who's primarily a receiving tight end. Mark Andrews. Call me fucking crazy. And excuse my language, but Mark Andrews is the most consistent tight end other than Travis Kelce in the league right now. There is no off weeks for him. He don't deal with injuries. He shows up every single week, and he is Lamar's number one. Don't be fooled by Marquise Brown or the Rashad Bateman draft picks. This guy is the most reliable guy on that offense as far as the pass game goes. Mark Andrews is elite right now, and it might not last for very long. And you might want to call me crazy to put him on the level of George Kittle and you know who else is going to go into this category. But Mark Andrews, in my opinion, is elite. That guy's a beast. I regret not drafting him more in fantasy football. I was like on the ledge of picking him up instead of going for other tight ends. Mike Gesicki, he's getting to a point where I would call him great. I think that he's great. And he actually, nah, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to put him in great for now. I have this category kind of reserved for one person. But I'm going to call him great for right now. Or two people, I should say. But he definitely shows some promise, and you may see him move up a tier by next year. I want to see what he does with a quarterback such as possibly Deshaun Watson. Noah Fant. He's another guy that I'm just a big fan of. And I think that he's great. I think that he's consistent. He's a good player. And he's another guy that I can't wait to see him play with another quarterback, with a little bit better quarterback in Denver that knows how to use him a little bit more. Bob, the GOAT, Tunyon. You're in the perfect situation to be a beast. You're built like a beast. You're athletic like a beast, but you're not a beast. I'm actually going to put him in fringe starter. I'm a huge fan of Rob Tunyon's. He could go in serviceable, but I don't think he's shown enough serviceable years. We just saw like a little bit of a spark last year, and ever since then he's been absent. They're calling people's names. They're like, Rob Gronkowski, present. Dallas Goddard, present. Dawson Knox, present. Bob Tunyon. I guess he's absent. Who is this? Honestly, Patriots fans, help me out with this one. TJ Hawkinson. I made a whole category for you, buddy. I think he is on his way to elite. Last couple weeks been tough, but you see what this guy can do. This Lions team is going to get to a point where he is the guy to go to. But on the Lions offense right now, the most promising things going on for them is DeAndre Swift and TJ Hawkinson. Both those guys have top 10 potential in this league one day. And I think that TJ Hawkinson has top 5 potential in this league one day. And I think he's on his way to elite one day. Travis Kelce, I don't even got to say anything about him. Goes straight to elite, and he's one of the best tight ends to ever play already. Maybe the best tight end to already play already. Dare I say it. I'm a Chargers fan. You know how I feel about guys like Antonio Gates. Guys like Tony Gonzalez. Tyler Eifert. I think he's a fringe starter. I thought he was going to have a little bit of a spark to go from Cincinnati, where you were injury prone, to Jacksonville. You kind of have more space to thrive, I guess. More targets were going to come your way is what I was thinking. But Jacksonville tried to bring in Tim Tebow to play tight end. They didn't really ever fully commit to Tyler Eifert, and still to this day, he's not really used that much. So I'm going to put him in fringe starter with a chance to move him down to just for depth here in the future if he leaves Jacksonville and goes somewhere else with some other tight ends. Tyler Higby. I think Tyler Higby is serviceable. I think it's a pretty good categorization for him. I will say that he has the potential to be really good. He's a huge dude, and he's really athletic, strong. He's a good blocker. That's really what his biggest strength is in this offense, is to help them out with keeping that run game going, even though they lost Cam Akers, even though they're dealing with injuries to the offensive line all the time. So he is a big player in this offense, but as a tight end overall, ignore the low batter. I'm going to get through this. I don't know if Tyler Higby could go to like a New England the way Hunter Henry did and perform on the same level with like a rookie quarterback and just perform at that same level that some of the guys in the great category perform at. Almost there, Darren Waller. We're going to put him in elite. He's had a tough stretch of games, but it's more to do with the Raiders' offense and the entire team just falling apart more than Waller. You can still see the talent that Waller has. You can still see the level of play that Waller can bring once they get some more consistency there, and he's going to be a beast. I believe this is Will Dissly. I don't know everyone's faces, I guess. I'm going to go for just for depth with Will Dissly. He's never done anything that's impressed me a ton, honestly. Zach Ertz would have been inserviceable if he's still in Philly, but we're upgrading him to great with what he's doing in Arizona. A lot of fun watching Zach Ertz play. in Arizona so far. He's actually contributing, and he's becoming a guy that they can rely on to make some big plays when they really need it. And then the last one, Kyle Pitts, and already going to put him on the way to elite. And that's going to be our list. Let me zoom in on it a little bit so you can see the whole thing. Oh, that's not how that works, I guess. But that's our list. Completed. Whew. That was fun. Hey, come here. What are you doing? Why are you barking? Oh, he's a good boy. I'm going to get out of here before my camera dies, but I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let me know in the comment section again where I'm wrong about some of these tiers. And if you guys have any topics that you want discussed in its own individual video, go ahead and leave that topic down below. Like I said, this video wouldn't exist without that comment, so I appreciate you for leaving that comment. I'm Mike, and I'm on the mic, and I'm asking you to please, please, please like this video. This is me saying until next time.
Smack him in the mouth. I gave you fair warning, beware. Smack him in the mouth. Toward the end zone. It is up for the touchdown. Smack him in the mouth. I gave you fair warning.